Hello, Year 10s. As part of our investigation into bivariate data in Year 10 maths, we're going to be using CODAP, and we're going to use CODAP to pull a sample, a randomly selected sample from a large set of data. Now, CODAP is well equipped to analyze large sets of data, but one of the things that we need to talk about is sampling and the effect that it might have on the reliability and validity of your statistical analysis. Let's get into it. So we're here at CODAP, codap.concord.org. We're going to launch CODAP. We get to our familiar dashboard. We're going to create a new document. Let's head across into our data set. This is our data set that we're playing with. It's called World Happiness. We want to copy this data across. So I'm highlighting the columns. I've pressed Control C or Command C on a Mac. I could also right click and press copy as well. We see the ants around the outside. Let's go and paste this in. We're going to go new from clipboard. So we click tables, then new from clipboard, and it's all in there. We've got 155 sets of data. I'm going to rename this as just original data, just so later on I can actually identify that as opposed to what else I'm working with. To pull a sample, we're going to use a plugin, and we're going to use the sampler plugin as a, as a shocking turn of events. So we've got our sampler. We want to select a certain number of items. Now, in the investigation, I'm going to ask you to select 50 items. For this demonstration, I'm just going to select 10, just so that it works a little bit more quickly. So we're going to select 10 items, and we're going to collect one single sample. We're going to turn it over to the collector. We're collecting data. You can see if you look really closely, it might be a little bit more obvious on your screen, but those dots have gone from being letters to being the names of countries. If I squint, I can see Haiti there. Okay, so we're going to select 10 items in one single sample out of our countries. We need to click on options and select without replacement. It's really important that you do this because we don't want to have the one country represented in our data twice. Okay, we don't want to see Rwanda twice in our data over here. This is an important statistical thing, and it does have some impacts on the statistical analysis that we can do, but it wouldn't make sense for us to have a country appear more than once in this case. So we're saying without replacement. Back to the sampler. I'm collecting 10, you're going to collect 50 in a single sample from our collector. Let's start our engines. And you can see that it is selecting, it's jumbling them around a little bit, and we've got some countries popping out. You can change the speed if you like. Once we're done, it's popping over to our experiments, samples, and items. And if I just zoom out a little bit, I can see that I've got my data that I'm working with. I'm going to change this items data to what I'm calling my sample. If I do that, it makes the next part really obvious. So I'm going to create a graph, as we've been doing a few times in class. We've now got a bunch of different bits of data floating around, right? We've got our original data, we've got some experiments, some samples, and we've got a sample. If we click here, you can see that there are some options here now. So original data, that's from our original clipboard data. There's 155 points in there. Our experiments and samples, don't care too much about those. But now our sample, that's referring to this sample of 10 cases here. I can use that to construct a set of axes, a scatter plot here. Okay, so that is how we collect our sample and then how we manage it afterwards. Okay, please don't hesitate to reach out if any steps of this don't make sense, or particularly if you're trying it and something isn't working.